Today I am here to inform you about the abuse of alcohol and drugs, specifically the abuse of drugs and alcohol in teenagers. Imagine you are coming home from a night out in the town with your brother's wife. As you enter your brother's home, you notice how quiet and how dark the house is. You look into the driveway to see that your brother's car is still there. You walk through the house calling your brother's name, but he does not return your calls. Your heartbeat starts getting faster because you know something is wrong. You see that the guest bathroom door is open and the light is turned on. You walk in to see your brother is laying on the floor. You go to shake his arm, but remove your hand from his arm because of how cold his skin is. This is a very sad experience that a lot of people have to endure. As I go to high school, I see so many of my peers around me abusing drugs and/or alcohol, and it breaks my heart because of the choices that they are making. Substance abuse is a very serious problem with very serious consequences. Whether or not the family and friends of the abuser know about the abuse, it is still a very sad and very traumatic experience. Now let us discuss the heartbreaking truth as to why so many teenagers make the choice to abuse drugs and alcohol. With drugs and alcohol so readily available and teens so easily persuaded, drug and alcohol abuse is a lot more popular in teens than you would want to hear. As Sarah Bell states in her article, Mental Health in Young People, she says that a traumatic experience such as a car crash, hurricane, loss of a loved one, or physical abuse can trigger a mental illness or substance abuse. This means that if you see someone in need and you know their situation, that you need to get them the help that they need. As Sarah Bell states in her other article, Why Does Peer Pressure Influence Teens to Try Drugs? That teenagers are more likely to ignore the risk in favor of the reward. This means that teenagers will only think about the fact that you'll feel at peace and that you'll be able to escape the world, that you'll be able to escape from your problems and you won't have to deal with them. They will not think about the overdose, high chance of sexual assault, and the fact that they will most likely get addicted. That was from paragraph 1. In Love and Drugs and Violence, from the National Institute on Drug Abuse for Teenagers, it is stated that people who abuse drugs and alcohol are more likely to mentally or physically abuse another person. This means that if someone is abusing drugs or alcohol and they mentally or physically abuse another person, then that person may start to abuse drugs or alcohol, which can then lead them to abuse the person mentally or physically. This means that this couple is in a never-ending cycle of abuse. Overall trauma of any kind can trigger someone to cope by using drugs or alcohol, which can lead to this cycle, which is really hard to get out of. Now that I've told you about the cause, I will now inform you about the effect. You hear your entire life that abusing drugs and alcohol is terrible and it makes you homeless and blah, 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 blah. But why? With the technology that we have today, anyone can access information about drugs and alcohol. So the answer to this is pretty easily found. From drug overdoses kill more than cars, guns, and falling, the National Institution on Drug Abuse for Teenagers, it is stated that according to the CDC, 105 people die from overdosing in the United States in one day. Paragraph 3. This means that in 1 year, if there's about 382 billion people living in the United States, that 38,325 people die from overdosing in 1 year. And in 50 years, that number goes to 2 million. So why is drug and alcohol abuse so terrible? Because so many people die from something that is 100% preventable. The National Institution of Drug Abuse says in their article, Why Drug Use Disorders Co-occur with Other Mental Illnesses, that patients with schizophrenia experience higher levels of tobacco, alcohol, and other drug abuse than in the general population. That is from paragraph 9. Paragraph 11. This means that if a patient with schizophrenia has psychosis and hallucinations, that if they take a hallucinogenic, which also cause psychosis and hallucinations, that their symptoms will further. Now that I've informed you about the cause and the effect, I will now inform you how you can help someone who is abusing drugs and alcohol. In the blog, Real Teens ask, how can I help a friend? It is stated that just telling a friend that you are concerned can be a big help, even though that person may not want to talk about it, and the effects of the drugs on their brain may stop them from hearing or acting on your advice, that you still need to try. Paragraph 9. This means that if you see someone who's abusing drugs or alcohol, that you need to try super hard with all your might to try to stop them or just to get them help, and that just showing a little bit of concern and maybe giving them a hug can help them. From Addiction Resource, it is shown that experiencing the appreciation of another living thing can add to a child's sense of self-worth, in turn decreasing a child's chances in giving into peer pressure. Paragraph 3. This means that having a household pet around can really help if you are afraid that your child will give in to peer pressure. If a child's parents both work, this is also a really good solution. In conclusion, substance abuse is a very big problem, but is very preventable and has a simple solution. Substance abuse is triggered by traumatic experiences, can cause overdose, and can be prevented by a helping hand or paw. Being a friend means that you have someone's back. If you want to prevent walking in to see that your friend has overdosed, watch that friend's back and be part of the solution, not the problem. Even though you may be one small person in this world, you can cause a really big difference to someone who's abusing drugs and alcohol.